All right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Can I get your attention? It's 7 a.m. We're going to get started with briefing. Welcome to the operational briefing for Sunday, September 20th. My name is Roger Noon, Plan Section Chief for CAL FIRE Team 1. Please take this time to mute your cell phones, turn down your radios, and if you need to have a conversation, please take it well outside the briefing area. We'll start off with a situational update with Night Ops.
Hey, good morning, Polar Arterias Night Operations for Incident Management Team 1. Yesterday, again, we had a very productive night. We didn't have clear skies, allowed us to get in there. Down in Jose Basin, everything looked good. Still tactical patrol going all the way through the Meadow Lakes area. Crossing the road there at Division Whiskey and Victor. That's still a piece that we didn't burn the other day. Is still there. We got almost, I would say 70% of the line going direct, going into that area. On Division S and R, we actually got all the hose lay in there. We got a little small section going there, but a lot of good work was done in there. One area in Huntington Lake, just outside of Tamarack Lodge, we ended up bringing a section there last night. It consumed well and it protected the neighborhood. With that, it was a pretty good shift. Hopefully you guys have a good, safe shift today.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to review our incident objectives, our management objectives that are utilize the risk management process to identify and mitigate hazards to protect firefighters and the public. Emphasize strategies and tactics that have the highest probability of success and the least exposure to firefighters and the public. Develop strategies to protect life, property, communities, businesses, and infrastructure. Employ tactics that fulfill these strategies while being mindful of the necessity for contingency and emergency plans. Ensure strategies account for incident priorities, applying resources to those with the highest consequences first. We're going to follow COVID-19, CDC, and establish state, local, and federal guidance to limit virus spread within the incident and surrounding communities near the fire area. Provide timely and continuous information to affected agency partners, cooperators, and the public. And maintain fiscal accountability and keep costs commensurate with values at risk. For our control objectives, we're going to keep the fire north of Pine Flat Lake, keep the fire south of the South Fork of Merced River and the crest of Ansel Adam Wilderness, keep the fire east of Highway 41, and keep the fire west of Minarets Range. And with that, we'll have weather.
Morning, Incident Meteorologist Matt Maley. So today we'll kick off a slight warming and drying trend. Nothing too extreme, but definitely warmer and drier than what we've seen in the last few days. Winds will be mainly terrain driven, so that's more of your upslope, up canyon type flow. And at night, when we are starting to cool off, the upper slopes are starting to get into the upper 30s. So we'll actually see maybe a little bit more of a stronger downslope, down canyon flow. Nothing super strong, but definitely stronger than what we've seen the last few days. The challenge for the weather for the next 24 hours will actually be the smoke. We don't have a lot of transport flow, so smoke settles down into the canyons and lower drainages at night. And then during the day, as we heat things up, it kind of lifts, but doesn't totally mix out. Yesterday, it finally did start to clear in the late afternoon, and I expect that to be the challenge again for today. Have a safe shift.
Next will be fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Watt, Fire Behavior. So another good day. This will be a good day to get out there and hit those trouble spots. We're starting that warming and drying trend. We still have some good weather, some shading, to be able to look at those spots that have the most potential to have a problem in the next couple of days. Use it to your advantage. Other things, just keep an eye out. We're starting to lose the vegetation off the overstory. It's starting to fall back down over the fire. So it creates another fuel bed on the surface. So just watch those areas and keep getting after the heavy material. Have a safe shift.
Now we'll cover our branch and division operational work assignments.
Good morning, Tony Brownell, Incident Management Team 1, day operations in the south. Up in branch 20, fire's still checking out. Our IR showed it might across the river, but I'm kind of doubtful of that. We'll verify that. It's kind of chunking down towards Papa. Papa hasn't moved for a while. It's hung up in the rocks. It's looking good. Continue the mop up around Huntington Lake. There's still some areas in there that we want to get cooled off around the structures. Romeo, we have a catcher's mitt on the north and a catcher's mitt on the south. It still progresses to the east a little bit, but it's hung up on the rock. We're going to continue to try to go after that until we get a closure on that. It is a critical part because I don't want it to get in the wilderness. We don't have to, but it is ugly country to fight fire in. But it is beautiful to look at. Okay, moving down to Sierra. Sierra's holding on the dozer line where we went direct. Even when we turn the corner, there's a little spot down here we need to verify and get some ground proofing on to make sure we have hose in it. There's over 4 miles of hose in there. That's a phenomenal job. You guys put that in there. Thank you. Shaver Lake's looking really good. There's still some snags back behind the houses we have to work on and get it safe for when we repopulate. Those people aren't going to get hit by a tree. Union's looking real good. We still had one little slop over there yesterday, but it continues to do that, but we're catching them. It's not going anywhere. Victor Whiskey, that's our headache. So we tried to fire out a couple shifts ago. The weather came in, stopped our firing operations. Now we got to go in and cut it out. The crews working from Victor to the west are doing a great job. They're hung up in the rocks in there, and they're making some progress. We flew it yesterday, and I'll say what you guys are thinking. That country sucks for fighting fire in. It is rough, rough country. I appreciate all the effort going into there. Whiskey, we're going to go in there and cut that stuff out that we couldn't fire. Moving up into Branch 29 and Zulu X-Ray. Still continuing to mop up around those houses. We want to repopulate that here soon, but we got to make it safe for the people to go back in. Thank you for your day, and have a safe shift.
And now we'll have our branch and division roll call.
Good morning, BJ Corey, Resource Unit Leader with Team 1. This will be the branch and division roll call for the South Zone. Individual resources will be done at your divisional breakouts. So branches and divisions, as you hear your name, please stand and face the back so everybody can see and hear you. And we'll get started with branch 2025, Lotta. We have a ride-in as well with Petro on a 12-hour. November, Papa LaFleur. And we have an additional ride-in on a 24, and that is Darcy. Moving on to division, Romeo Morris and Carpus. Division Sierra Lowry. Division Uniform Stevens. Branch 29 Campbell. And Carter Trainee. Division Victor Huff. And Wade. Division Whiskey Winnan. X-Ray Zulu Scoville. And contingency is Nielsen. Thank you, everybody, and have a safe shift.
Air operations.
Good morning. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Team 1. Air Attack and Helco will be up early this morning, pending weather. And then for water dropping helicopters, we have 9 Type 1s, 3 Type 2s. Copter 407 is available for medevac. And thanks again for listening in on Air to Ground. Continue to monitor. And you guys are doing a good job of getting out of the way of the aircraft, doing water drops and retardant drops. Make it a safe shift. Thanks.
Next up will be safety.
Good morning, Dennis Lang, Safety Officer, IMT1. On page 21, have your folks pick somebody in your group to go over the safety message and implement those things with your crews. And then a little blurb from one of our safety things is how to succeed. Be prepared, have a process. Go over that with your folks. Hazard and risk recognition, mitigations for those, and notification early. Validate your information that you have, and then lastly is document everything that you have. With that, make it a positive and safe shift. Thank you.
Next up will be communications.
Tom Webb, Communications Unit Leader. No changes to the comm plan from your previous work period. We are there to support you in room 5 if you have any questions or need any repairs. Cell service went down, as well as hardline service went down over most of the fire area around Shaver and stuff last night. We'll be working with a local phone company this morning to try to get that service back up. Thanks. Have a good day.
Next up will be medical.
Good morning, Matt Conroy, Med Unit Leader Trainee. Please turn to page 26 in your IAP for the medical plan. If you have any minor medical needs or supplies, we have CalMat set up in room 32. If there's a line emergency, please follow the procedures in box 6, working through your division. If there's an emergency here in base camp, call the communications unit directly using the phone number on the right side of box 6. Thank you and be safe.
Now we'll hear from logistics.
Good morning, Jacob Garrett, Logistics. If you guys can please turn to page 27 of your IAP. And on the bottom, we need to add in drop point 22 for off-site dumpsters. The forest and the community have already been impacted by fire, and we don't need to have it impacted by your trash. So backhaul your trash to the appropriate drop points or back here at camp. Also, page 28, the CAL FIRE 101. Any items left on the line or damaged need a division signature. Last but not least, there's signs everywhere that say, wear your mask. We still have people walking around not wearing masks. Thank you. Have a good day.
Next up, public information.
Good morning, Emily Smith, Public Information. If you'd like to join me on page 29, I have some numbers that you can write in. For the updated acreage on the creek incident, we're at 278,368 acres, 25% containment, and 2,915 personnel assigned. On this page, you'll find the public information and media lines to the top that you can refer folks to. Also, please adhere to the CAL FIRE and federal social media policies. If you have pictures or videos that you'd like to post to your sites, please come by the PIO shop so we can vet those first. We also have Lost and Found in room 13. We're collecting quite a few items, so come by and check that out. And we have mail service as well. The address is on the bottom. Thank you. Have a good day.
Law enforcement liaison.
Good morning, Scott Black, Law Enforcement Liaison, CAL FIRE Team 1. We continue to move forward with repopulations, and we're starting to move forward to getting people back actually inside the burn in the future. So you're going to see a lot more infrastructure people out there and general public. So just keep your head on a swivel and have a safe shift. Thank you.
And now we'll hear from our resource advisor.
All right, good morning, everyone. Josh Corder, lead read here. Just a couple things, or a few things for you that involve you turning to page 40 for the resource advisor message. There's a correction that needs to be made. It's real simple. In the second area where it says stay out, and there's a line that says the second set, please cross that out, okay? We didn't realize even though the color combination we picked to help put up there in the forest for you to avoid was actually really close to colors that said to drive through. We just found that out, so we definitely don't want to have that mixed up. So go ahead again and scratch out the second set, that line. And to bring up just a reminder for removing trees and so forth on federal land, that there's a guidance there on the bottom where it says remove fuels in the forest. This usually will apply more towards your indirect and contingency lines, so just a heads up on that. And then lastly, some people have been asking, so what can we start doing now for suppression repair? Kind of might be hearing that a little bit out there. Well, there's some things you can start, and if you just look there on the very bottom of page 40, that's some things you can start doing now, and you kind of already heard that also from logistics a bit. Thanks.
And now we'll hear from our COVID advisor.
Morning, Jake Libera, COVID advisor attached to the South Zone. As we walk around here, we see all these signs: mask required, briefing, division, food, showers. But when you get out of here, you see a different sign. You see the signs of a grateful community, folks that really appreciate everything that you're doing in this area. How we maintain that relationship with the community is by leading by example. That's actually following the signs in here on limiting our contact to the public, and like I said yesterday, wash your hands. Really what it boils down to, folks, is we are part of this community for right now, but we want to make sure that when we leave here, we leave in good terms, and that includes not getting these folks sick, and we're able to stay healthy to continue to do our jobs. I normally do a nice song and dance up here for you, but that's what I got for you today. Have a good day.
And now we'll hear from our agency administrator.
Good morning, Dean Gould, Forest Supervisor, Agency Administrator for the Creek incident. I've had an opportunity now to do a drive around on a good portion of both the north and south sides. Pretty phenomenal in a couple different ways. The amount of damage, obviously, both in terms of intensity and the scope, something we've never ever seen before in this forest. It's quite amazing. Both in terms of the vegetation loss as well as structural, single residences, things of that nature. Not even close. And also, as I drove around, I also saw some remarkable saves out there too. Whole communities, or as much of a tract that could be saved that you would have never thought could have been saved, but they were. I've seen large pockets of vegetation out there in areas that I never would have thought would have made it through. How in the heck is that even still there? And so I just want to talk about all of you here now for a second. And that is, with the half a battalion of Marines that showed up last night, now there's over 3,000 people assigned to this incident. And I can't even imagine from how many different organizations that is. It's got to be over 100 easily. And that I'm sure that's way underestimating. So how in the world do you bring 3,000 people, most of whom haven't worked together before? How do you throw them into the middle of something like this and be as successful as all you have been? That's remarkable. Well, I think, yeah, we do have the incident objectives to kind of keep people focused. But beyond that, it's what each and every one of you bring to this, and that is a willingness to go into harm's way on others' behalf. Very few people in this country that are willing to do that. This is a good portion of that group right here. You're as good as it gets, and you're all they have. You've seen the signs driving up here, thanking you for saving their communities, thanking you for everything you've done. You've done phenomenal work out here. I couldn't be any more thankful to you. And up to this point, 0 serious injuries on this accident. That's perhaps the most remarkable statistic of all so far. But that's all looking back. We still have a long ways to go here, and I really need you to keep your eyes looking forward, treating each day as a new one, treating each area you're working in with the respect that it deserves given the amount of hazards that are still out there. Thank you very much for being out here and for all you're doing.
And now we'll close with our incident commander.
Hey, good morning. George Wong, one Unified Deputy Incident Commander for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. We continuously hear everybody say, have a safe day, etc. So on day 17, we continue to stress safety. And going back to my safety days and etc. and what's in your IAP, going off of ICS 206, box 6 comes down to a safety plan. On July 25th, 2008, there was an incident called the Dutch Creek. Many of you are familiar with that incident? In this area where we're at, there's a lot of trees. There's a lot of down trees. There's a lot of safety hazards all throughout this incident. Andy Palmer was one of those victims from a firefighter that suffered one of the losses of our firefighters. With that, going out there, we have a process from our team all the way to what all branch safeties, divisions, every single line supervisor here, we follow that process for a reason. And in case something happens in our safety and our supervision, we follow to make sure that we protect every single one of you. So with that, make sure you guys follow your process. Number one priority is from here, driving all the way out to the incident, coming back home. Our goal is to make sure you get home safe to your own families. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a few more announcements before we get moving around. Cooperators meeting this morning at 1000 hours right here in this location. Planning meeting this afternoon at 1700 in the presentation building. Our next operational briefing will be right here tomorrow morning at 0700. For breakouts, branch 20 and 25 to my left, NP, R, S, and U around the horn. Branch 29, Victor's over here, Whiskey back there, X-Ray Zulu, contingency, and we also have a staging area back here a little bit behind the stage. Unassigned resources in the back with the resource guys. Turn on your radios and cell phones and have a great day.